Yeah, besides the ham, I'm always looking for a great potato casserole, and I usually do the same recipe year after year. And I thought, I love loaded baked potatoes. You know, when you go to a steakhouse and sometimes they'll bring like the fixings and you can just load up your potato with the bacon and the cheese and the scallions and the sour cream. I mean, come on. I've never met a baked potato that didn't like all that stuff on top. So I thought, how can we combine all that into a casserole recipe? And I came up with a winner of a one, and it's really easy. All right, so we're going to start out with one 16-ounce container of sour cream, because I load up my baked potato with sour cream. Whenever they ask at a restaurant, they're like, would you like sour cream with that baked potato? I'm like, yeah, of course. So one 16-ounce container of sour cream. You could use the light if you wanted. And 1 can of cream of celery soup. And I think I thought about this soup would work the best because it's just kind of a more neutral flavor. You could also do cream of chicken, but we're going to do cream of celery. Get all that out of the can. Now, this is where this recipe gets a little fun. I am a huge fan of scallions and chives and things like that on my baked potatoes. And I thought this would be a fun way to jazz up this recipe. And we're going to use chive and onion flavored cream cheese, just a tub of that we're going to soften. I'm going to get that back from you. Thanks, Deb. So this is just one softened container of chive and onion cream cheese. If you didn't like that chive flavor, you could leave that out and just use regular softened cream cheese. And this is an 8-ounce tub. All right, I'm going to start mixing that together. And while I'm doing this, one more really fun thing I want to tell you about. Have you heard about this? We are so excited about this. It's our big night out. Everybody needs a big night out once in a while, right? This is a new thing that we're going to be doing, and I just can't wait. It's basically a lovely, lovely dinner with wine, gourmet dinner. This happens to be a 4-course meal at one of my favorite restaurants in the Valley, The Seasons, an Asian American bistro. So we're going to have a wonderful gourmet Asian American meal, and it's going to be fabulous. I think they're doing steak and shrimp and dessert in every course. It comes with wine, and it's just a big party, and you're invited. So call today to make your reservations. There's only a limited amount of spots, so call, and come meet me. Deb and I are going to be there. It's going to be just a really fun night, and it's coming up in April on the 14th, 6 o'clock. It's also on a Wednesday night, so make your reservations. It's $50 per person, which is a bargain with 4-course meal plus wine. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. Our big night out. Okay, so I added 2 cups of milk, and I'm going to mix that in. I know that seems like a lot, but you know me, I am not a big fan of the dried out casserole. Don't like that at all. So especially those dried out potato casseroles, I like my potato casseroles to be nice and creamy, and this one is, trust me. So we added 2 cups of milk. Now, no peeling potatoes or having to dice them. We're going to cheat, and nobody needs to know that you use 1 2-pound package of frozen country style, those are the cubed hash browns in this recipe. And just let them thaw out a little bit. You don't have to let them thaw out completely. And they work really nicely in here. Now, my loaded baked potato needs some bacon. I don't know about yours, so we're going to do about 8 cooked and crumbled strips of bacon. And then 2 cups of shredded, I like to use sharp cheddar cheese. Get that in there. Now I'm going to melt some butter, and we're going to put a nice little topping on top of this potato casserole, just to, you know, I like a little crunch on top of my casserole, something fun. I always say the key to a good casserole, nice and creamy, full of flavor, and a little fun crunch on top, and some cheese usually. Got to have some cheese in there. That's the makings for a good casserole. So this is a great side dish, not just for Easter, but if you're grilling up steaks. We did some of that over our spring break. I'm going to do a little pepper in here too. Fired up the grill, got it all cleaned out, ready for summer at the cottage. So we did a lot of grilling, and this would be a perfect side dish. This is also a make-ahead. So, you know, if you're doing this for Easter, you can totally get this into your casserole dish Friday or Saturday so that you're not in the kitchen all of Easter dinner. Now, this makes a nice big casserole. I've got a 9x13 that I'm going to spray. Get every little last bit into this. Remember, and I get emails about this, if you are going to make casseroles like this ahead, whether it be this or we're going to do some brunch bakes later on in the week. We've got some great Easter spring recipes for you all week long. That if you're going to make this ahead and have it in the refrigerator, bake time on that. Now, if I were to bake it right now, it's going to take a little less time. So remember that. Think about that. You know, it gets real cold in the refrigerator and it kind of sets up a little bit. So allow some extra baking time. This casserole baked as is takes about 45 minutes and then an extra 15 minutes or so, so about an hour. So it might allow a little bit extra time if you're making it ahead on a Friday or Saturday and then baking it off on Sunday for Easter Sunday. All right, the crunchies. Let's get to the crunchies. So I melted some butter, a few tablespoons of butter, and I've got 2 cups of crushed cornflakes. Everybody's got that in the house, right? Or I usually do. And it's not just for breakfast. There's so many, it makes a great, when you crush it up, it makes great, you know, if you've ever done chicken rolled in cornflakes, season those up, it just makes a great topping for casseroles too. So I'm going to take that butter and those crushed up cornflakes, and we just crushed them up in a Ziploc bag, and just use a fork to toss that around. This is going to be the crunchy on top of this casserole. So that just goes right on top. I like a lot of crunchy, so. And then we want to preheat the oven to anywhere between 350 and 325, depending on how hot your oven gets. Mine at home, I do about 325. Yours may do about 350. Here we crank it up. And you bake that covered with foil for the first 45 minutes. And that way the casserole gets all nice and warm. And then you want to brown it and uncover the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. So come back with me. We've got this baby in the oven, and oh, it looks so good. Great side dish for not just ham, chicken, steaks, whatever. If you like a loaded baked potato, you're going to love this. So see, when we uncover that foil, the top gets nice and crispy, and it just goes fabulous. You see our Easter ham there and our Easter lily. Pick those up at the grocery store. And then you can garnish with some chopped scallions or some parsley. But again, we've got the chives in there. So we're just going to snip some, which is very spring-like, some fresh chives on the top for garnish. And I always love a little chive on my loaded baked potato. So there you go. My loaded baked potato casserole recipe. This one is a good one. Recipes on our website. You can also pick it up at any Festival Foods. Man, wait for that to cool down, and I am digging in. Coming up next, we're going to show you how to decorate the most beautiful Easter eggs. And